this is genuinely insane as the Edmonton Oilers dominated the Minnesota Wild last night at Rogers Place, but were unable to get anything by the Wall of St. Paul, Jesper Wallstedt, the one that got away on the Edmonton Oilers. And I don't think we're going to be hearing the end of that one for quite a while if it's anything like the Broberg and Holloway situation. We will get you the recap for that one and much more today here on Oilers Digest, while you're giving me your thoughts down below on how the Oilers missed out on Jesper Wallstedt. If you haven't done so already, folks, make sure you hit that subscribe button for any and all Oiler news. Now, it was a soccer game disguised as a hockey match last night as the Minnesota Wild take it by a score of 1-0 over the Oilers, pushing Edmonton to a record of 11-11-5. And we'll make a wish. I hope the Oilers can get much better after this game here. I mean, they dominated the Wild, but just wasn't their night last night. The only goal that the Minnesota Wild needed was a goal from Jonas Brodin there, right off the draw from Nico Sturm there. I saw a lot of criticism towards Stuart Skinner on that one, saying, yeah, it was an unscreened shot from the point. How could you not see that? But after watching a few replays here, I could see that Liam Ogren, the guy that I circled here in the picture, obviously, Stu didn't see that until the very last second there. So, okay, I can, give him the benefit of the doubt on that one. Normally, I'm harping on Stu every chance that I can get, but last night, I mean, he kept the Oilers in this one. It was just, an anemic offense from Edmonton last night and just wasn't able to, muster the second and third chances. They're sure they got their opportunities, but it just wasn't, a lot of high danger chances for the Oilers. I mean, Jesper Wallstedt is no slouch of a goaltender. You really need to work to score on this, guys. I mean, this is his fourth shutout in his 15th career NHL game. I mean, the guy is just, hitting the record books as much as he can. Shots on goal, 33-24 in favor of the Oilers. I mean, 33 shots on goal on Wallstedt and just unable to get anything by him there. But, this game, lost, in my opinion, on the power plays. The Oilers, going for 2 for 2 on Saturday afternoon in Seattle and 0 for 3 against the Wild last night, one of which was a 6-on-4 to end the game there. A golden opportunity for, McDavid, Draisaitl, Hyman, so on and so forth to get the game tied. But, you know what? The star power for the Oilers, they tried their best last night, but just, again, not able to solve Wallstedt when they absolutely needed to. And I mean, most of the league has been, trying to solve Wallstedt and nothing forthcoming there. I mean, a 958 from Stu, adding that on with his shutout. I mean, this is what we wanted for a long time, consistent goaltending, and we split the games. I mean, that is absolutely ridiculous there. But Matthias Ekholm saying, kudos to him. He was solid back there, but I thought we had chances. I thought we had looks. It's just that things aren't coming easily right now for us, so it's about putting your head down and continuing to work. But if we keep playing like we did tonight, I think more often than not we'll like the result. Unfortunately, it just wasn't our night, and the Oilers running to a scorching hot goaltender there. And again, I did like the way the Oilers played last night. It was much better than, a lot of the other games so far this season. Adding that on with the Seattle game, if things, continue to keep like this, yeah, I think we will see the Oilers of old there sort of, break out of their shell and become the, the explosion of a team that we've been waiting for all season long there. And it is December 3rd, and we're still waiting for that to, be consistent. But for the Oilers, I mean, wow, this is just their luck, right? I mean, a 958 from Stu, and he still gets outplayed at the other end there. The Oilers all over the Minnesota Wild in the second period there, outshooting them 5-on-5, 12-6. And even 12 scoring chances, comparing that to Minnesota's 4 there. So again, you can see the shot attempts there in the actual shots in the scoring chances. So the Oilers, again, weren't, completely trying to sit back there. And I mean, you can't really sit back when you're down 1-0. So they were, coming in waves, but it was just, trying to get the high danger chances, which they were unable to do so for the most part there. I liked what I saw from most of the lines last night there, especially, the Janmark, Nugent-Hopkins, and Henrique line. I thought what they, brought to the table, I really liked there. And of course, whenever you put Hyman, Draisaitl, McDavid together, you are going to get, the offensive firepower that you're trying to get. But again, you know what? At the end of the day, I'm going to say it once and I'll say it again. Wallstedt was just unbelievable last night for the Wild there. And McDavid, I mean, what is going on with Connor so far this season there? It just seems like whenever he tries to, go for a clean look at a shot, he passes it off, has the blaze of speed, right past the opposing blue line there, and then button hooks and looks for the defenseman there. What are you doing, Connor? We need that killer instinct that we saw, when he scored 64 a couple of years ago. Where is that? We need you to shoot the puck and shoot the puck often there, because, more often than not, when you're Connor McDavid and the speed and just the amount of skills that this guy has, he needs to be able to score at will there, and we saw it in the past. Why don't we see it right now? Is he waiting for the Olympics there? Is he taking it easy until the Olympics? Who knows? But we need to see a little bit more out of number 97 there. And again, only 7 high-danger chances, 4 for the Oilers. I mean, they did limit the Minnesota Wild to only 5, but, for the Oilers, with Zach Hyman saying, they're a good team and they're playing really well, you got to get to the net. It's the defense's job to box you out. It's your job to get to the net. I thought we had some looks there, some looks on the backside. Sometimes when you throw it there, it hits something and it goes in. Sometimes you throw it there and it goes clean through. Tonight, it felt like a night we were getting stuff there, but we weren't getting the second chances there. So the Oilers, coming at you, but, unable to get anything done after the, the initial shot there. So the Oilers, trying to get into the nitty-gritty, the dirty areas in front of Wallstedt there. They need to do that a little bit better. Not just, in front of, one particular goalie, but just, keep that a consistent part of your game there. Because even if, you get a shot on net, there's a juicy rebound waiting for you to pounce on there. So the Oilers, again, need to find a way to get physical, get your body in front of the net there and pounce on any loose puck, because you never know what's going to pop out to you at any point in the game there. Taking a look at the heat map here from the Oilers in the Minnesota zone there. Again, it was a lot of perimeter stuff, showed by the bright yellow spots here. Not a whole lot of inner slot stuff, which the Oilers were trying to improve on, not just, on the defensive side of things, trying to limit these slot opportunities, but also trying to, produce some of their own there, at the side of Wallstedt. Sure, they got their chances, but they need to be able to, again, get inside to the middle there, use your body, use your positioning to your liking there. I mean, you can't just let the opponent, body you and keep you to the perimeter, which the Minnesota Wild did last night. I mean, 33 shots, but only 7 of those were high danger chances. We need to, see, sure, a high volume, of shots is nice. You need to pepper the goalie, but you need to make sure that these opportunities are not just, stat padding, to make your statistics look good. It's like, oh, he had a whole bunch of shots on net, but how many of those were decent? How many of those actually had a chance of going in? So the Oilers, again, need to do a much better job of getting to the middle there. And they need to do much better on Thursday night against the Seattle Kraken there, when the Seattle Kraken roll into town after meeting each other last Saturday. Seattle looking for some revenge, in the Oilers when they're wearing their alternates on Thursday, so we get to see them in a different look there. Again, I wasn't mad at the Oilers game last night. You play like that, 9 times out of 10, and you will win. You just need to not just give lip service to the fans like, yeah, I really like the way we play, but we just need to do a much better job. We actually need to see it in motion in practice there. We just need to see it more consistently, rather than one game on where you're fantastic and one game off where you just completely turn into a dumpster fire of a team there. We see that time and time again. Like, you see these Oilers where they're like, yeah, where's this team been all season long? And the next game they're like, why are we seeing this? Why didn't we get the last version, or the last game's version of this team there? But again, it's still a very long season there. And the Oilers, their lines and pairings from Wednesday's practice from Tony Brar of Oilers TV. They're switching things up there. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins moved up to the top line with McDavid and Hyman there, and then Vasily Podkolzin and Leon Draisaitl in Matt Savoy back on his right side next to Leon Draisaitl there. Andrew Mangiapane moved out of the top 6 there with Janmark and Henrique on his line, and then Clattenburg, Lazar, and Frederick with David Tomasic as the extra forward. There is still no Jake Woman on the ice there. He's projected to be, in one of these games this week, but not on the ice this morning. And you have Ekholm and Bouchard, Nurse Regula and Kulak in Emerson, with Stuart Skinner in Calvin Pickard tending the net at practice this morning there. I don't mind moving Nugent-Hopkins up to the top line just to sort of get the offensive, sort of a boost. But he's much better as a third-line center. I'd much rather him as the third-line center compared to Adam Henrique there. But that is it for today's video, folks. Let me know down in the comments what you thought about last night's game against the Wild, and your thoughts on the lines from practice this morning. Very interesting that Nugent-Hopkins moved back up to the first line. Again, the Oilers, they're a much well-balanced team when he's on the third line, but Kris Knoblauch has paid the big bucks to make these decisions, and I'm here to criticize them. But folks, take care. Have a great rest of your day. Let's go Oilers. I'm Matt.